Hello. Thank you ever so much for joining me. As I keep saying, and I always will say, I really appreciate it. And I've spent a bit of time working on the map today, but there are quite a few areas that I can't work on because my vision isn't good enough. So I need my friend to come along. And between us, we will make it and squash those pins in. But apart from that, I've been thinking about storms and the calm around storms. I did meteorology at university and I was mesmerized by storms and hurricanes and the swirling round of the hurricanes, but that calm in the middle always used to make me think, well, how, what, why, when, where? And I've forgotten the how, what, why, when, where now. Maybe I'll have to Google it to remind myself. But many of us have storms in our life. Yes, we've got the physical storms, snowstorms, rainstorms, the hurricanes, typhoons. And to say they cause a lot of upset is putting it very, very mildly. They can wreak absolute havoc with people's lives, with their property, with the infrastructure of countries. And they are hard to cope with. But with, I'm laughing as I'm thinking this, with the meteorological forecasting as it is, then we have very often prior warning of this. Having said that, we were told that there was a wall of snow coming, and that warning began before Christmas, and it arrived not many days ago. So maybe they were hedging their bets. It is, despite all the scientific advances, not a precise science, even in a little country like ours. But if you know that there's a storm coming, then you can use the calm before to stock up. And oh gosh, memories of when they warned us of the COVID lockdowns that, we needed to stock up. And I will never forget the sight of going into the supermarket, and there was one woman with a huge, great big trolley just full of toilet rolls. Yeah, I mean, there's stocking up and there's being silly and selfish at the same time. But if you can hunker down and protect yourself by putting up boards around the house, around the windows, finding the place that you are most safe in, or even evacuating your home, then that storm, it won't catch you unawares. And in life, we have storms like that we have things that we know are going to happen, like me and my forthcoming surgery. When it's going to happen, I don't know, but I know it's going to happen. So the theory is that before this storm happens, and I'm hoping it won't be a storm, but in my mind it is, because it's something very much out of the ordinary, obviously. I, in theory, am using the time to sort out my home, get things straight and tidy, and then I'll divert onto making recordings and doing the map. But I will get there. I will. And so we can prepare. It still might take us by surprise, either being a gentler storm than we expected or a great big full thunder and lightning, everything smashing around storm around our ears. I'm hoping for the gentle version. So What about a calm in the middle of a storm, like the hurricane? A good time to evaluate where you are. Metaphorically, not speaking of actual hurricanes. How have you coped so far? What do you need to do for the part that you know is about to come again? Are there any differences that you need to make? Just as it would be with the hurricane. And ask yourself, did I cope well with it? Did I panic? Was I advised of what was coming? Did I find out enough? What would I change? What would I do differently? What do I really need to do differently? And the calm after the storm, very much a case of picking up the pieces, either physically after a physical storm, finding out what happens now, whether it's just a case of a few broken windows, whether you've been flooded, whether the whole house has been demolished. You've just got to bite the bullet, grit your teeth, and get on with it. But it's the same with after a storm, emotionally, or our physical selves, but especially emotionally. If we've had a stormy emotional period, we really, really do need to give ourselves the opportunity to take full benefit of the calm after, to breathe it out, to consider what we did, what we said, if you can remember, because very often it just blurts out and you can't really remember. Did I say the right thing? Did I say the wrong? You can't change that. It's done. But you can change how you think about it, how you think about words that were thrown at you, words that were probably thrown at you to hurt you. Did you show that hurt? And most of us do if we're being castigated, having horrible words thrown at us. It's very hard to just accept it. But there are times when we need to be strong, we need to accept. When that battering is going on and on, that you need to be strong. This is called grey rocking, when you've got the waves, the emotional waves lashing at you, and they'll roll back and they'll lash again. But like a strong granite or a basalt, you can stand there, you can remain firm, firm in your resolution, not to be beaten down by the stuff, the angst being thrown at you. You've got to be strong. So think of that grey rock and those waves. I mean, I love watching waves coming in on a beach, but I love watching them especially coming in onto the jagged rocks. And it does make you realise how strong water is, but it also reminds us of how strong that rock is to have withstood that. So have a think. How do you cope with storms? Have you learnt by prior knowledge? When storms have happened in a relationship, did you think it through and use that knowledge in future relationships not to make the same problem again? Or have you gone in just the same, made the same mistake, and ended up heartbroken again? And there's a good old saying, if you keep on doing what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So storms and the calm around the storms. A good time to think about that. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Take the best care of yourself that you possibly can. And I'll add underneath the link to the video about grey rocking. Thank you. Bye for now. Bye.